We the top 10. UGK the major way, not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock near. Bands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? And he's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. Yeah, it's top 10. Hey, now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget, bro? Put G.O.D. first and nothing less, no. On a radar per release, per request, yo. Life is like a dice game, that's a bet, though. Is you bugging, that's a dub. Shoulder shrug to the stub. Tell them hit the squatty up. See a line of cars meet up. Nah, don't bother us. Windows fogging up. If she in a passenger, then you know she finest. Damn. It's really still a bros and my blood love. All is all love. AWD, I got a newer clutch. And my guapi up, you could call me up. Since you
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
All right, episode 388 of the PHP Ugly podcast. If you're just new joining us, welcome. We are a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, the PHP community, and our company, PHP Architect. I am one of your hosts, Eric Van Johnson, and with me, as always, is John Congdon.
Hi, it's me.
This show is made a little better thanks to some sponsorship from honeybadger.io and, of course, PHP Architect, as well as our supporters on Patreon. You can join us at patreon.com/PHPugly. And I think the lowest tier is like $1 or something.
Actually, they have that whole free tier now, but it doesn't really get you.
Oh, yeah, there is a free tier. Yeah, but you don't get your name on the screen for the free tier.
Or the magazine.
Oh, right. I always forget. If you are a subscriber to the $5 tier on Patreon, you automatically get the digital monthly PHP Architect magazine as a thank you for your sponsorship. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something. You can join us.
You are. There you go.
At discord.phpugly.com and participate in the show. Give us show titles by doing bang title and then whatever you want the title to be. And while you're in there, just hang out with us all week. Lots of great people in there. Lots of fantastic conversations happening. And it's kind of our hangout joint. Now I'm missing... Did I get everything that time?
I think you got everything that time.
Fantastic.
Now I'm missing the Where's the little chat sidebar thingy? That's
Jeffrey,
not up. Oh,
is
there.
our
There it is. Over
Discord
there.
already popping on?
Got it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I totally forgot the overlay. How'd that happen? That's weird.
It happens. It's all right. Seems like it's been one of those weeks where everything's gonna go wrong.
Really? Oh God. Oh God. Don't say that. We have a client who hits busy season next week. And yeah, a little nervous about it. We'll see how it goes.
I want to be part of that call that you have scheduled for after we finish podcasting. Because I'm curious why we need to pre-spin up servers versus letting auto-scaling do what auto-scaling does.
I can give you an answer for that.
I would love to hear the answer for that.
It's really for the comfort level of the client who pays the AWS bill. He would rather have more power sitting there idle than having to worry about things auto-scaling quickly enough. And he's paying the bill. He made the request, so kind of okay accommodating him.
Yeah, something we could discuss with him, because we could always lower the threshold to bring a new server in, whatever our values are. Just say, hey, we'll bring it in sooner than we do on a normal basis. Like,
and we'll probably still do that as well. But yeah, let's have that conversation.
All right.
I have another thing that I'm kind of getting a little excited about. We've talked a little bit about it in the past, but I've never really worked too much with it. I'm going to use a marketing term here, but this client that we're talking about has absolute years and years of data. Data from clients that haven't been clients for 10, 20 years, just so much data, because they don't want to lose anything. They don't want to delete anything. If an old client comes back on board, they want to have that like easy welcome. We'll reactivate your account feeling. So really starting to think a lot about big data, right? And moving this archive data that's not active off to another solution that can still be queried and reports can be generated against it, but it doesn't have to be accessed on a regular basis. So starting to have that conversation and figuring out what the best approach to that is, but exciting stuff. I love our job. I love what we do for a living. I mean, there's just always new things to do.
Solving problems can be fun,
yeah,
and can be frustrating.
Yeah. How's your week, John?
Dude, my week has been absolutely terrible.
Oh no.
It's been, and today doesn't get any better. I actually started sending out posts on Mastodon. So one that I shared recently is that the universe has spoken. I should not write JavaScript. I've been looking at an issue that's been around, it's been plaguing us for a few weeks, where one of our clients' customers was reporting having an error. So they're making phone calls through the service and just running into errors. They're in the middle of dialing, something happens, and the whole thing just shuts down. It says, nope, you're done for right now. And I couldn't figure out why. And I couldn't reproduce it, which was frustrating. And every time I went back to our client with, I've tried all of these cases and I can't reproduce it. It's a race condition. There's something weird going on. I can't reproduce it. Can we get more data? And they come back with, have you tried this scenario and that scenario? And it's like, yes, I've tried all of those scenarios. I cannot figure out what is happening. And over the past 2 to 3 weeks, they kept resurfacing it with, we would add logging, trying to figure out what's going on. And then our client comes back to us saying, our customer, this is the nicest customer. We've got to come up with something. We have to find it. So I dived deep into it the other day, and oh my gosh, it was the weirdest. edge case, a contact can have custom fields, and one of those field types is basically an enum, like a drop-down selector.
Mm-hmm.
Only if you had that, and it was set on both the contact you were calling and the contact that was calling in. As we went to swap that contact, it triggered an AJAX request. If you didn't own the contact that was calling you, the contact record, say it was owned by somebody else on your team, as it did that swap, you got a 403 error. And I wrote code years ago, because we didn't have this inbound outbound thing, that said, hey, if you get a 403, your session must have ended. So end the dial session and kick them out. So it had a purpose years ago. Now, this one AJAX call wasn't sending, I'm allowed access to this contact for right now. I know I don't own it, but I have access to it. Here's a token to prove that. And all we had to do is add that header in there. Everything's fine. But without that, things just crashed. And it was like that perfect like edge case, and it was so frustrating.
I tell you, I'm not a big JavaScript person. I'm not a big front end person, but I'm definitely not a big JavaScript person. And I have made a started effort not to delve too far into JavaScript. Even when like Vue.js became like a big deal in Laravel, I kind of looked at it a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Not interested. But I find myself again like being pulled down that path. A lot of it is around our mobile apps, right? Because I really want to get into that aspect of development, that mobile aspect of development. And there's no way to do it without doing the solution we're using is a JavaScript solution. It's Cordova, which is this abstracted away, so you're not doing native coding. And I think by default it's like Angular based, but you can do React or Vue or anything else. So man, I'm like, I start to think I want to do it, and then I start looking at the code and messing around. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Yeah, JavaScript is finicky, man. I don't care what anybody says. You guys, I know all the boot camps out there are kicking, producing JavaScript developers by the week, but I don't get it. I don't understand why it's so prominent.
It doesn't help that the code that I added was like a global thing. It was when you make any AJAX call through jQuery, because we still have jQuery on the site, even though we're working to get rid of it. Any jQuery call that resulted in a 401 or 403 had this issue. And that was the frustrating part. It's because it's a global thing. That's why all the logging was being added, was trying to figure out, okay, well, what's calling this? What is causing the 401, 403? And again, that was just an assumption of what was happening. It just happened to be the right assumption in the end.
Yeah.
And so that was just one small piece of my week. That was
there's more.
That was the frustrating in the past few weeks, but because we figured it out and solved it, that was a little bit of a blip, a little bit of a high.
that was the good part of the week.
That was a good part of the week. I work on the phone system for the client, and there's a lot of PHP code that started PHP 4 back in the day. It's been brought up to speed, but the way this code was written is it's one big file full of functions. And at the top is a case statement, because it's all done via CLI. It's not a web app. And you call it and pass in the arguments you want, and then it calls the proper function and does what it needs to do. And we've been working on modernizing that code, bringing in object-oriented programming, Composer, all that fun stuff. And there's a new concerted effort for code that I've been writing for the past year and a half, 2 years since we've done all the inbound calls, where I'm refactoring it. And it's supposed to just be a refactor out of, these thousands of lines of functions and into objects. Release it, do all the coding, put it on my dev PBX instance, have somebody QA it. They took the time to verify phone calls come in, everything works, we're all happy, pull request gets approved, merged the next day. Everything's broken. Revert, figure out what's going on. Son of a gun. I did all my coding locally, and because it was done over a few days, one of the things I did was a composer change, where locally I did a composer install to make sure that PHP Storm liked all of my changes. It didn't complain about anything, but I didn't run it on my dev PBX box. I just pulled the code down, and because it already had the files there from the previous composer version, everything worked. When it went to production, though, composer install, things blow up. Get that fixed.
So I'm sorry, before you go on, just curious, because this hits home for a lot of us. The composer install issue, was it like just a minor change in versions that broke something, or?
So actually that was actually the second issue. I was upgrading a package. So I went from version 3 to version 4 of a package.
A major version. Right.
Mostly for an interface that I wanted, not necessarily anything else. And but with that also came a change to how you constructed the service.
Gotcha.
But because I didn't change how I constructed it, and I didn't run it locally, everything seemed fine until I pulled the code down onto my local or my dev instance that I have running. And because it's been running for over a year, I mean, things are there and they just work. So the previous way of constructing the service worked fine. If I would have done the composer install, it would have broken. The other issue was last year, I decided I'm going to use PHP Storm's sync functionality. I'm going to write code locally. It's going to automatically sync to this box. And that way I don't have to push, up to GitHub, pull down. I was trying to avoid all that. I stopped.
Yeah, get it.
I didn't, it worked, but I didn't quite like it. So I stopped doing it. And instead for the past year, I've been doing the code local, push, pull, everything's fine. Again, this big refactor gets pushed up, goes to production. There was a file from a year ago that did a sync there, but wasn't in Git. So it didn't end up in production.
Jesus Christ, man.
So I'm like, this is driving me crazy. Cleaned out my entire Git folder, in that dev PBX machine. I created a make file, which there's a new PHP Architects video on a make file up on YouTube. Check it out. Thank you, Scott Keckmore, for doing that. I have a make file now that I can run that does almost everything I need it to do to bring the machine up to date, composer install. So it does the build process that I should have been doing the whole time, but my lazy ass wasn't doing it. And it's bit me twice this week. Finally got the third one out, and then all morning I've been fighting other issues. So I think I've released 4 hotfix PRs already, trying to combat little things. It was probably 2 hours I spent just before the show. Like, I get XML from a server, I parse it, and I literally copy and pasted 4 lines. If, do a couple things, done. Copy that into my refactored code. And I'm like, why is this not working? It drove me nuts. Because it's XML, in my old version, I had equals equals. In my refactored, I had equals 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 on something, not realizing it wasn't a string. No, it's a simple XML object. So a strict comparison didn't work. Yeah, it's been one of those days.
John.
Yeah.
At least you're coding.
Causing all sorts of outages.
I had a uncoding related week with last couple of weeks actually. I shared with everybody that I got solar finally installed in my house. It's been working fantastic. I have 2 Tesla batteries that charge all day long, and at night I run off batteries, and I've pretty much been off the grid for a few months now, with the exception of this week. Kind of popped on a few times because running AC deep into the night right now. It is a little warm here in Southern California. I can run it during the day without issue. Like, I don't even bat an eye because my solar is producing 2 to 3 times more than I use on a regular basis. So even with the AC running, my batteries are typically topped off by noonish on a sunny day. It's, again, after the sun goes down and I'm living life off the batteries, that's when things get, and nothing bad happens. If we do use all of our batteries, we just go back on the grid. I think we did that a couple times this past week. But because of that, here in Southern California, we have this fantastic energy efficiency program called I'm going to turn power off to your house for a little while because it's really hot outside.
When you need it, we're going to turn it off.
Yeah, that the electric company will do for you. And one of the things about getting the batteries is I didn't want that to happen to me. I wanted to stay online. And of course, the city did this a couple of weeks ago. They call it gray outs. Sometimes it's straight up blackouts, but it sucks. I mean, it just sucks. And I'm like, well, why the hell did my house go down? So I call up my solar people. I'm like, hey, yeah, city lost power and my house goes out. And it just amazes me. I can't fault them because I understand, right? They have a script. These people, especially that first tier support, might not have a lot of experience. So they're just like, oh yes, if the city power goes out, your power goes out, even if you have solar. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
I have batteries. Did you not listen to the first part of my sentence?
And then I don't want to call them out too much, but it was just like excuse after excuse. Oh, well, when the solar panels actually need a little power from the city to function. I'm like, what are you talking about? That is not how solar panels work. They don't need any power they don't need power. They create power. That's what they do. It was just all this back and forth. But I had a technician out last week, and I was honest with the guy. I'm like, hey, this might just be an educational thing, but here's the problem. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not right. He's like, you have a whole home backup that you should be fine. Let's take a look at it. And they take a look at it, and he initially had diagnosed like, oh, your batteries aren't configured correctly. So your batteries are not understanding that the city has lost power, and they don't know what to do. So they're just stopping. I'm like, okay, that's bad. So the initial kind of solution, this was last Friday. The initial solution was, we just need to call Tesla. They'll reconfigure the batteries and everything will be fine. But it was like a 3-hour hold to get through Tesla. So he's like, I'm going to bail on you. I will talk to them. I'll stay on hold and I'll talk to them and we'll get it fixed. I'll be back on Monday to just verify everything's working correctly. I'm like, all right, fine. That's fantastic. Well, on Sunday, we lose power again and my house goes down again. I'm like, well, that didn't work. So the technician, the technician on Monday ended up having to cancel. He had some sort of family emergency, so they actually sent out another technician today, and he's like looking at it, and we're just like going through all these scenarios, and finally he figured out what it was, and it was a kooky little thing that they had installed incorrectly. I guess my house actually had 2 fuse boxes, and where they thought they had hooked both fuse boxes up to the battery, they didn't. The one fuse box was just still not hooked up directly to the battery. So like when the city went down, that fuse box shut off.
When you say fuse box, do you mean your circuit breakers?
Yeah, I'm sorry, circuit breaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was so I didn't really touch on that. That was the thing that was confusing everybody, because when it happened initially, I said I lost power to the house, but that's not completely true. I lost like 99% of the power to the house, but there were like these odd cases that were still working. Fortunately, both of my refrigerators were working. My microwave was working, like these weird things throughout the house. Like everything else was off, it was like there didn't seem to be any there just didn't seem to be any connection to anything. So, and that's why, because it was a circuit breaker. The things that were working were on the correct circuit breaker, and the things that weren't were on the wrong circuit breaker. So finally, after 3 weeks now, finally got that fixed. So I'm happy. Now I want the power to go off in the city.
I like that. I like that they said your batteries are not configured properly. And it's like, was I supposed to configure those, or were you when you installed them?
Hey, I'll get in there. I'll configure stuff. I don't mind.
Who's responsible here?
The only issue I have now, and this is me, just wanting to take it one step further, because I'm a dick and I don't know why I'm like this. I noticed we've lived in this house for just over 2 years, right? We're coming, about 2.5 years now. And we've lost power here 4 times, 2 within the last couple weeks, and a couple times before then. And I've noticed, I've taken note of the fact that every time we lose power in this neighborhood, we lose internet. The internet provider that I have shuts down as well. And it's always the same thing. The power goes out. The electric company sends us a message saying, hey, we're looking into why the power's out. And then 15 minutes later, the internet sends us hey, we're looking to why your internet's down. I'm like, because the power's down. Figure that out. Get some solar on that thing. So now I'm like, I told the current wife, I'm like, Starlink. Now we need Starlink. We get Starlink, we can have the zombie apocalypse. We're good. I told you, I don't know if you saw my social media. We saw one of the SpaceX Starlink rockets go off.
I saw that.
It was the craziest thing. We just happened to be sitting outside eating dinner, because it's actually very nice and cool in the afternoons. And the current wife and I enjoy sitting in our backyard. We have bats that fly down and, dive bomb our pool and get little insects. And I look up, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look normal. This is this big thing. And
it's pretty cool,
every now and then you saw this little spark just drop off of it. And it's like, wait, is it breaking apart? I didn't know what it was at the time. I'm like, that's either Superman or something else. It wasn't Superman, by the way. But yeah, every now and then you saw these little bright sparks just drop off and just start floating away.
Mm-hmm. I love watching that. I didn't see that one, but one night we were playing baseball and saw a shoot over, and it was like everyone just stopped and watched.
Yeah,
I guess completely understand that.
It's still pretty far north too, right? It's up by San Francisco. They launched from.
I don't know. Is it? I don't know. California's pretty small.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes. It's San Diego, LA, San Francisco. They're all up against each other according to PHP ugly geometry or geographics
and geometry. So you were complaining about not coding, but I beg to differ. I took a look at PHP Tech TV, and you've made some changes.
Oh, I have. I did make some changes to PHP Tech TV.
I like that dark mode that you've added.
Yeah. I got that. Let me bring that up. Boom. Yeah, a little dark mode. What? Dark mode? What? Boom. What? Boom. Boom. Love dark mode. Yeah, I'm happy. Well, it started with our package that we talked about last week on the show, Vibes. And
Verbs.
Verbs. Oh, geez. I think I keep calling it Vibes.
You did it. You did it.
Verbs.
You did it very consistently in a message to me. And the first one, I was like, oh, he just mistyped it. And then by the third or fourth one in the same couple of sentences, I'm like, oh, he really thinks it's Vibes.
Yeah, you took my idiot level. You just didn't take the idiot level into account when talking to me. You should have saw that and said, no, he's an idiot. Let me tell him what's right. But it's, I started the verbs. I had been playing around. I created a branch. I'm like, I want to get verbs working. It's the event sourcing. And we don't have a major need for it on PHP Tech TV. That's just kind of where I like to, mess around with things a little bit. So I'm like, I'm going to get a little event sourcing on here. And I pull up the code base. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, man, this one thing kind of really bugs me. Let me go and fix that. And oh man, I really have been wanting to put search on here for a very long time. Let me go ahead and get search on there. I never did get back to verbs. but search works. That's a thing. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I still have a lot of cleanup to do. Like this doesn't. I have a new header up here now, so this doesn't scale as well. If you get really small onto a phone, these menu items go away. So I got to fix that, and a few things I got to clean up. But yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm getting happier with the way it looks. Like I kept convincing myself I was happy with it the first time around. Where I'm like, oh yeah, this looks good. It's functional. It's functional. But now I'm like, okay, this is looking better. This is looking better. I'm happy with this. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like it. I've been in there watching some of the videos, so to catch up.
Yeah, we need to decide when we're going to stop selling because we need to start prepping for 2025.
That we do.
And prices are changing.
Yes. And you might want to be a current PHP Tech subscriber or, have had it in the past because you just might.
It doesn't make any difference. They won't be able to go forward. That's the problem.
I know, but I had a thought. I had a thought that I haven't shared with you yet.
Oh, their thoughts. I like thoughts.
There are thoughts running back here, and I gotta shoot them out here. Eventually, maybe
we should get together sometime and talk. We do own a company. We should probably get together and talk. This week was one of those weeks where you and I don't think we spoke all week, did we?
No, it's because it's been a hell of a week for me. It's been a very bad week for me. I missed our Tuesday meetings because of that issue where I had to deep dive. I had to find out what was going on. And I had throughout that, I think I was on the phone from 9 to 1 or 2. And throughout that entire time, people popping in, popping out, trying to help at different points. And finally figured it out.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get together. But as far as PHP Tech TV goes, I was able to deploy it with a little confidence. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I have Honey Badger on that bad boy.
Splunk like querying without having to sell my kidneys? Nice. That's a direct quote from someone who just saw Honey Badger Insights, the new observability tool from the folks at honeybadger.io. Insights is a fresh approach to logging, performance monitoring, and observability. It's a bit like Splunk, Datadog, or CloudWatch Logs, but with just the good parts and a reasonable price tag. Honey Badger helps you gain deeper visibility into what's happening inside your applications, letting you drill down into the details and step back to see patterns in your data. You'll love how easy it is to query your logs and events and create quick charts and dashboards. The best part is that it's available on Honey Badger's free tier as part of their comprehensive monitoring suite, which includes error tracking, uptime monitoring, status pages, and more. Get started for free, then pay as you grow, or choose a 30-day free trial to unlock the full power of Honey Badger right away. To get started, visit honeybadger.io/plans. That's honeybadger.io/plans. Thank you, Honey Badger.
All right. What else we got to talk about?
Did you add the link to the PHP Architect YouTube channel? Or
I did.
Oh, good job. I went and got it, put it on my board, and went to drag it over. I'm like, wait, it's already there.
It's already there.
I was very confused. Good job. Yep. Eventually, going back to what we were saying, eventually you and I will talk about things.
yeah, that would be helpful.
Our friend of the show, Florian Engelhardt, I'm sharing a quick tweet, and then you can say what you're about to say.
Have at it.
Shared a tweet, got his Oscar. Actually, he ordered a few of them for his friends at Datadog HQ.
Datadog HQ. That's nice. Cool. Always happy to see the Oscars making their way to their new home.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they won't be abused as much as they were in our container. What was I about to say to you? Shoot. See, I lost my train of thought. Dang it.
I hate when that happens.
Stuff, man. You know? Things happen.
Yeah, we were talking about your solar. We moved on.
I know what it was. Are we skipping next week?
It's
an American holiday.
It is, unless you want to record on Wednesday. I don't think Thursday would be a good day.
Nah, let's say it. So no show next week. Show next week.
We will.
We'll pick it back up.
We normally go to a park across the way from the county fair, and we set up all afternoon where we cook out and just play yard games, picnic, and then watch the fireworks from there.
Yeah, I know. I think I know the spot you're talking about. Actually, it's got to be packed. Man, I went down to San Diego. I went to the Padres game this week.
That was a crazy game.
It had been the kookiest game I've ever witnessed, either in person or on television. I have no words for what happened. It was bizarre, but good. I mean, interesting. It definitely kept the game interesting. But man, I don't know if it's me being removed for a while, because since moving out of San Diego and up the road a little bit, I just well, first thing, where we currently live, I call it the non-tourist area of Southern California. Like, there's really no reason for somebody to be here unless you live here, like, or you're visiting somebody who lives there. This is not now we're in a good location. Like, we're within striking distance of LA, San Diego, Orange County. Like, it's all just like boom, 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 Palm Springs.
You got Temecula right there.
Yeah, we're like in the middle. We're like in the middle of the spoke of being able to go to everything. But anyways, so we don't go out a lot anymore. And man, I went down to San Diego for the game, and that place is either getting more crowded, or I just have lost a sense of what a crowd looks like, because it's just crazy. Like, it's gotten so busy down there. I don't remember the traffic being nearly as bad as it was. I don't know if we just hit it. My SoCal kid was with me, and she kept saying, yeah, no, this is an everyday thing. This is how it is now. But man, I don't know. Too many people, man. There's just too many people here. I've been seeing that for a long time.
You're also driving through. The game was 6:40, so you were probably driving through right at peak rush hour as well, right? Or did you go early?
No. We met up early. I have the kid and I have a place we go and have drinks and eat and relax before the game. So this was like around, I think we got on the road at like 3:30, and the game was at like 6:40.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't peak rush hour by any means. It's probably the big start of rush hour, but I don't know, just a lot of people, man.
Yeah. Well, with the fair in town, the traffic on the 5 going that direction has just been ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true too, right?
It's always that way, but it's been pretty bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I was going somewhere with that, but I don't remember where it was.
I got a question for you.
Wait on.
Is it just me, or are you sick of all of the AI stuff being like everything has to have AI attached to it?
I was so sick of it.
It's just, I don't know, everywhere. Like a service that one of our clients uses for phone calls. I logged into their portal. I go in there to check, how numbers are routed. Simple little things. Sometimes a little bit of debugging, but I log in there yesterday and it's like, check out our AI, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with the AI in here? And they allow you to upload information that you can then query via their AI. I'm like, but why? There's no room. This is one of those places where I don't think AI fits. It's not necessary.
The problem with that statement, I'm going to tell you, and I agree. I totally 100% agree with you, because it has just everything has AI, and you're like, oh yeah, this seems like a stupid use case of AI. It happened to me recently where you called me out on it once with the Slack stuff, where I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why does Slack need that AI? And you're like, well, what if you could ask it how things went last week? I'm like, well, shit, that's a good use case, actually. And it happened to me again. I saw this new product pop up where it touts. I'm gonna kill my cat. That's all there is to it. The cat has no respect for boundaries. That's a keyboard. You're not supposed to walk on it. Jesus Christ. I saw this product pop up, and it touts itself as AI first SQL query tool. I'm like, what? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, why does this make sense? And so I'm like looking at, huh?
Can I make a guess?
Go ahead.
So instead of you writing SQL, you're asking it a question, and because it understands the schema, it can put the query together for you.
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm like, God damn, that's actually really good. That's really smart. That's a really good use case.
I know a lot of people go to OpenAI or ChatGPT to ask query specific questions.
Yeah.
So having a tool that knows your database structure makes it even better, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it knows your database structure. Maybe it does. I assume that must be the whole thing with this, because
I mean, it's got it there on the left, right?
You can just go to ChatGPT and do the same thing.
Yeah, that's your database explorer there on the left. So it's already it is like a data grip kind of tool.
Yeah. So, and somebody like me who my SQL foo is not fantastic, I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not paying for it, but because I already pay for enough AI crap. That's like our buddies over JetBrains now have the AI writing companion for PHP for people in tech. The interesting thing about this, I could be wrong about this because I'm on their beta programs, right? So I see things sometimes that aren't released. I thought that at one point they had actually released a product for writing tech documents. Could
I
be
thought-
wrong about that, but I feel like
that
actually
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
yeah. This just is a plugin to whatever IDE you're using. So in our case, PHP Storm, which is nice, right? Because when I do like markdown writing and stuff, a lot of times I will pop back over to my Vim because I just, I don't know, I just do. And you can do markdown in PHP Storm even without this. This is just adding an AI component to it. This doesn't like add that formatting stuff. So I thought it was interesting that it was an extension. There is a free tier, there's a paid tier. I don't know what the difference between the two are. I'm sure you don't get all the bells and whistles, but I haven't used. I did install the extension, but I haven't had a need to use it quite yet. But yeah, it's called Grazy, and if you just go to your plugins and you can install it. Wait, what's this? Other platforms? Wait, what? I didn't even get down to here. What is that? There's extensions for your browser? Oh, damn it. Oh, here's the differences right here. Look at that. So the Pro gets you custom rating styles on the fly, tone suggestions. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you, I use that a lot. We have Grammarly for the magazine, and I have that extension installed on my browser. So when I'm composing emails, Grammarly will make suggestions, and I will say I do use that a lot.
I like the idea of it, but it just drives me nuts in the places where it gets in your way and you can't fill in a form or click on a button because that stupid little icon is there. It's like, okay, turn off for this site. It's like,
yeah.
I almost want to just say turn off for every site and whitelist sites as I need them, but then I forget to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that pain. I'm with you on that.
I was looking at that. I was looking at that other service, and it looks like it's a SQL tool that just passes information over to ChatGPT.
So you have to have a ChatGPT API?
I don't know if you have to have one or if it uses theirs. Like the free tier gets you 20 GPT-4, 10 GPT-4o, 50 GPT-3 Turbo, and it's like I don't know enough about those other than what I learned from TJ recently, and it's like I still don't know when to use which. I just know
I don't either. I just
they're things.
I never know. For 90% of the stuff I use, I think I'm still using ChatGPT 3 because I don't think there's that big of a difference. I do know that if you want to generate images, you have to have a 4, but I don't know.
I guess I'm using 4.0, and I have an account and it says it's the newest and most advanced model, so that's the one I use. Like, why would I go back to 3? I don't understand why I would change that.
I don't know. TJ would definitely be the person to ask. I feel like there's a cost difference if you use it a lot, but you probably don't use it enough to feel that pain. So yeah, I don't know. This is weird. Like this JetBrains plugin. So like I said, there's a free tier, there's a paid tier. The paid tier is $10 a month, or if you go yearly, it is $8.33 a month. Not $8, not $8.50, not $9. $8.33 for some reason.
Well, so you do that math, and it works out to what?
$800.
Yeah,
right. Because it says right here, billed annually $100.
Yeah. I can't read that. It's a little small on my screen.
Is that a little small?
Yeah. I mean that's all. The only reason it's just
I don't know. $100
divided by 12.
Is it worth it though? I don't know, man. It's not worth it to me. Like we pay that for Grammarly, but Grammarly has a lot of features that we use, and we have a team account. So all the our editors and layout people are in there. So Grammarly is like, but like for like $100 for an extension, $100 a year, like that doesn't stop. That charge doesn't go away. That's $100 a year to add this AI tool to. It just seems like it's so much money to me. I just can't. I mean, JetBrains. How much is a JetBrains license now? That's just, I don't know. That just seems like so much money to me. I could be wrong. I'm not a cheap person. I don't feel like
no, you are not. I will vouch for that.
If you were at Tech this year, we had to go do some running around, and I forget why we decided to rent a car that day. But we had oh yeah, that's right, because we were going to Costco, and John's like, yeah, just. Fortunately, the car rental place is right there at the hotel now. It's the craziest thing. It's so nice. That hotel is getting to be more and more convenient for more and more reasons. But I walk over and I pull up to the hotel in this truck, and John's like, "What the hell?" So, yeah, last minute. This is all they had. I wasn't wasting a lot of time. I wasn't bargain shopping here.
You thought you were going to Costco buying for the whole conference. I had to buy food for the conference. No, you weren't buying that much.
It's a nice truck too. I need to get a car for my trip to Dallas. So go ahead to Dallas, July, August, right? Yeah, going to LairCon. I'm gonna head up to Oklahoma City to visit family for a little while before the conference. Yeah, so looking forward to that. You're heading to a conference yourself, huh?
It's not confirmed. I haven't done anything for it yet, but considering going to Cascadia.
Oh, I didn't realize it was still a consideration. I thought it was. Why didn't you come to LairCon, John?
Because somebody kept putting things off, trying to have a conversation with their wife, and then by the time we got let's do it, it was sold out.
It literally sold out like that week. Like John and I, we kept talking about it. I'm like, "Hey, come in." And he's like, "I don't know yet. I might."
It wasn't I might. It was I was planning on going. It was trying to work out, is it going to be a family trip before, after? Like, what's the timing going to be? I should have just got the LairCon ticket and then figured out travel arrangements. But I'm like, let me do it all at once. That's where I screwed up.
That was the flaw in your plan.
Yeah.
You don't like LairCons anyways. You always are underwhelmed with LairCon.
I'm under. Well, the couple that I've been to, I wasn't a fan of, but I like the people. I don't have to like the conference itself.
That's really, 100% transparency. That's like 90% of the reason why I go is. And I've had conversations with some other people who have been to LairCons recently, and there's like this is not a negative. I'm not trying to say this is a negative. LairCon has a different structure. It's a single track conference, so everybody is there, which is kind of cool. Like you don't have to decide between talks, but there's only one talk. So like if it's a talk that doesn't interest you, there's nothing else to do. Like maybe you walk off and find people, but and obviously it's very focused. It's not like PHP Tech where it's all things PHP and like there can be tracks, all things web development really, but it's a big lean on PHP. So there are all these different tracks about all these different topics. Maybe some things interest you, maybe some things don't, and you pick and choose. LairCon is obviously very focused on the Laravel framework. And it's just kind of become less of a educational conference, which I feel like it used to be. Like it used to be really an educational conference on the Laravel framework, how to use Laravel, where to use Laravel, how to optimize Laravel. And of the last couple of years, it just feels like it's become more of a marketing conference. And again, I'm not faulting them for it. I mean, if I'm using Laravel in my shop, we don't, I would want to go to a Laravel conference and see what products I can integrate with Laravel, right? I mean, that's what it is. And it's just, yeah, I go for the people. I go, because there's just so many things where it's like, okay, I'm not interested in a new way to handle error pages. Fine. If I ever need it, I'll Google it and see who has something at that time. But it's just, I don't know. It's always the same, and not always the same speakers. There are a lot of the same speakers every year, which again, Laravel, there's some key people in the Laravel community you want to see speak, and you see them at Laracon.
When you talk to the Primogen, get them to speak at Tech.
Right?
I mean, you're going to be there. Might as well talk to them.
I mean, John, there's only one way to do that. One of us has to get a Lambo. You have kids. It doesn't make sense for you. I need to get a Lambo, and I think that's how we get the speakers. I feel like that's we can write it off. It's a company expense.
There you go.
Have a Lambo. But yeah, the people are great. Developers. I mean, even the developers, because again, you're getting people who are so passionate about not a very niche. Like I'm not saying it's a small, odd thing in PHP, but a very focused, system within PHP. And so there's so much more to share. That's kind of cool. And then, I run into people like JMac and Mr. Bennett, who's a fantastic Jake Bennett. If you don't do Laravel, you don't know who Jake Bennett is, follow the dude on Twitter. The guy is hands down one of the nicest people in the world. Like, not in development, not in the US. He's just one of those great people you should know. Jake Bennett, follow him on Twitter. Not Michael Dorinda. He's a dick. So I've heard from Jake Bennett.
Let me see if I can stir this pot.
Cascadia. Where's Cascadia? That's Portland?
Portland, yeah.
That's exciting. You ever been up to Portland?
I have not. It's one of the destinations that my wife has been wanting to go to forever.
That's interesting.
We have friends here, just that having never been. I've heard a lot about it. Just somewhere she wants to visit. We have friends here in San Diego that are moving there this summer, so might be a destination. Go there, hang out with them a little bit while we're there. We'll see. Still don't know.
What is the story with the weather in San Diego right now? Like I said, I was down there this week. It's hot where I live. So if you're not familiar with Southern California, there are some mountain ranges and stuff that kind of run around here. I used to work in San Diego in a town called El Cajon, and I lived in Ocean Beach. I'm not even exaggerating. My drive home was like, I don't know how far that is. That's like 15 miles, 20 miles. It's not far. It was like a 20-minute drive straight on the freeway, straight on the 8. The temperature would drop from El Cajon to OB sometimes 10 degrees. So El Cajon would be 95. More, yeah. It was crazy. It was always beautiful. So the closer you live to the coast or by the water, the temperature would go down, and then as you move inland, typically the temperature went up a little bit. So where I live now, for me to have a 20-degree difference in temperature between where I live and where John lives is common. So I looked at the temperature in San Diego, and it's like, oh yeah, you're going to have a high of 75. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get there. You get there, it feels balls hot, man. Like, what the hell? It's not 75. This is not what I remember 75 degrees feeling like. It's hot as hell there right now.
Yeah, it's been hot the past few days. I've had my AC on. I tried last night to open my house up, and I'm like, oh, it's cool out, and it cooled off the tiniest bit. But by the time my kids were going to bed, I'm like, I'm turning the air back on because it's still stuffy in the house.
Yeah. Yep. And you get solar now too, so that nice and smooth for you. Although you got the nighttime issue as well.
Yeah, I don't have batteries.
Yeah.
One day,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's a thing.
It is.
I feel like well, we haven't done our Patreon supporters yet. You got anything else to talk about while we do Patreon?
You people in Discord have not given us any show titles that I've seen.
Oh, what
today.
the hell, Discord? That's it. You're all fired.
Yep.
Fired.
Yep. So we got quite a few people listening on Twitter right now, on X. Come over to Discord, discord.phpugly.com. Join us. Give show title suggestions. Hang out with us.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to keep track of that.
Make our community better.
Unless
Not that it's bad. Our community is already great. Come be a part of our great community.
Just a couple of people. You do without.
You know who you are, maybe. If not, Eric will call you out. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. We do appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much, and I hope you understand how much we appreciate you. Next month, I gotta come up with a new slide. For July. Try not to do fireworks. Fireworks is so common. Try to do something different. Creasy, how many kilowatts of batteries do you have on your solar? I don't know, Creasy. I would have to look that up. I'm not really sure. Where's my phone? But it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, I have a fairly large house, and it powers. If we're not running AC, I can power my house on half my battery easily. And so I don't know if the Tesla app actually tells you what the capacity of the battery is. Yeah, it doesn't really. I'm sure I could find it if I dive into my paperwork somewhere. But yeah, it's don't know, man. I do like having the batteries are a game changer. If you can, we have the system I have. I was adamant about buying solar at my old house. I wanted to own the solar. I wanted to eventually get to a place where I wasn't paying a bill. And when we moved here, the batteries really jack up that price. And so I don't own my solar. I lease it. The cool thing about that is I don't have to worry about the maintenance. The batteries expire every 10 years. And you have to change them out. And that's like 8 to 12 grand, depending on the size of your battery. My batteries are about 12 grand. So you got to change them out every 10 years, which sounds like a lot. But if you're not paying an electric bill, it's easy to squirrel away a couple $100 every month for 10 years and you're fine.
But you're not, but you're leasing the equipment. What I did when I got my solar was I figured out, all right, I'm paying about the same I'm paying for my electric bill every month, but it's going to end at some point. How does that work with leasing? Is it still working out to where you're paying as much as you were?
No, so you pay the same price. So to give you an idea, I'm probably oversharing here, I'm sure, but in the summer months, when we ran our AC at this new house, we're paying between $1,200 and $1,500 a month.
Oof.
In the winter months, I think it's like $300. So our bill now for the leasing doesn't change. It's the same throughout the year. So during the summer months, it's dramatically cheaper. During the winter months, it's a little bit more than we actually paid. But
I'd be running my AC all the time then.
Yeah, we do. We want it. Well, so there's a catch to that. Okay. Yes, we do run our AC pretty much all the time. But now, I don't know if SDG&E has changed the way they do things. We're tracking how much we're sending back to the city, so we know how much power we've sent them. All that adds credit to our account. So, like in the winter months when we don't have as much sunlight and we have longer periods of darkness, we don't know how the batteries are going to behave because we got these installed in about April. Was it March?
Right.
I think March.
Right as the days started to be
right.
Just after the equinox and moving forward.
We don't know what that's going to look like for us in the wintertime, but the credits should pull even during the summer. Like when we did go on the grid for the little hour or two that we did through the night, we have enough credit now with the electric company where that covers that. So we'll see. We're very interested to see what the winter looks like for us because it doesn't really change anything. I mean, it is what it is. And their big selling point is every year the electric company increases costs by X amount, right? So, that's not anything we have to worry about. My bill does increase, but it's a set percentage year over year. All right. I think, like I said, I feel like we've overshared. I feel like that is good enough. John, you got anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, we're good. I gotta go check on my kid. My older kid is doing junior theater right now this whole week. So opening day is tomorrow. I'm gonna go see that. But this whole week he's been gone from like 4 to 9 p.m. He's not in the show. He's backstage doing costumes and stuff, but he's still part of it and he's there all night. And like today, my wife had to take him down there, so I gotta go check on the other kid here. Who knows what he's doing right now? He's probably tearing the house apart.
Exactly. All right, that's going to do it for episode 388. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly. Hi, Vic. Welcome to the Discord.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Man, we got in there just at the right time to get that recorded. Wait, somebody recently asked where that came from, and like, that's not gonna happen again.
No, that will never happen again. I think C Money has the title suggestion locked down because at first thing I like it. It's actually a good title suggestion, but also the only title suggestion. That's a good way to win the title suggestion game.
That's one way to do it.
Normally we have the after show. Thanks for everybody popping into Discord, maybe coming over here from YouTube. Appreciate meeting you. Feel free to hang out here through the day and through the week, especially if you're a PHP developer. This is a cool place to hang out. Some great people like C Money and Jeffrey. I need to go take a meeting, and John has code to break, I'm sure, or just watch or something.
That's called coming full circle.
Yeah. So we're gonna get in the after dark. Normally we do a much longer after show, but we're going to end it a little early today. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
Yes.